Well, looky here. I don't think I've talked about TNA / Impact Wrestling slash Global Force Wrestling in a number of years. I think the last time I discussed anything involving Impact Wrestling was back in 2014. And I'm pretty sure my review is still up on the channel. And I'm pretty sure it's a little bit over 100 views, which is shocking for something of TNA standards. But when it comes down to it, I got to thinking. I was like, we are in the middle of Bound for Glory season. We're less than a month away. I mean, usually the shows are in October, if I'm not mistaken. I can go back to last year, see when they, October 2nd, 2016. That was last year's Bound for Glory. It takes place on November 5th, 2017 this year. So when it comes down to it, maybe they're trying to be a month of November 2017 competitor to Bulletproof. Who knows? But when it comes down to it, I was thinking, Bound for Glory, I know the show hasn't gone on yet because I didn't hear much about it. I know that it's taken place in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I might as well look at the card, right? I might as well look at the date, where it's headed, if it's still called Impact Wrestling at this point in time. I started watching. I started looking. And, I was like, all right, well, Aberdeen Pavilion, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It'll take place in... Anybody guess? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I fucked up. I'm just trying to be funny here. I'm sorry, I can't be funny. When it comes down to it, it takes place in November instead of October this year, which is something that is unusual for Bound for Glory. It'll be the second and last Impact Wrestling pay-per-view of 2017. When it comes down to it, the matches on the card, there are 8 confirmed at this moment in time. And I was looking at the matches, and I was like, all right, the GFW Global title match doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem like it'll be lackluster at all. The Ultimate X match for the Impact X Division Championship. That's actually looks pretty good. 51-50 street fight. The GFW World Tag Team titles. Latin American Exchange. LAX versus Ohio versus everything. Don't know who OVE is or who OVE are. But, yeah. Doesn't look too bad. I remember LAX. Seems like it's a stable now. 4-way match for the GFW Knockouts title. Sienna, Gail Kim, Karen Terrell, and Allie. Doesn't seem like too bad of a lineup. Seems like they can hold their own. 6 Sides of Steel tag team match. Oh, and if Moose wins, Lashley has to retire. If Lashley wins, Moose has to leave Impact Wrestling. I don't know. Moose and Stephen Bonner versus Lashley and King Mo. I mean, Moose and Lashley should get shit done. Don't know about Bonner and King Mo. I don't know if they're too used to the wrestling environment yet. We'll figure it out. Team Impact, EC3, Eddie Edwards, and James Storm versus Team AAA in a 6-man tag team match. All right. Grado and Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. Wow. And Rosemary versus Taya Valkyrie in a First Blood match. I'll be honest, I had my doubts, but the Bound for Glory 2017 card looks pretty fucking good. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, I'm most looking forward to Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie in a First Blood match, and the Monsters Ball match between Grado and Abyss. So, a bit about it. I haven't been watching the weekly shows. I don't watch weekly Impact Wrestling. I don't watch weekly shows anymore to begin with. I mean, Raw and SmackDown haven't really been my forte. Impact Wrestling hasn't really stuck with me over the years. Intensity and Severity aren't streamable. I haven't been able to watch Ring of Honor weekly for a little bit. Haven't had the time. New Japan doesn't have weekly shows. WCW is in a head spin towards the ground. Haven't been a big fan of weekly shows. Been watching pay-per-views. Damn right I have been. That's mostly why I don't do previews and predictions for the pay-per-views, because I haven't really seen much of the background. But this seems like a pretty fucking good card, and I'll give Impact Wrestling the credit. I thought it was fucked, but, I mean, it looks like they put up a pretty damn good card for their Bound for Glory event. So I'm going to give my preview and predictions on the show a month before they take place, because I'm pretty sure the booking has already been done for the weekly shows going into November. Pretty sure this is going to be live. Pretty sure this is going to be purchasable on pay-per-view, Fight TV app possibly, and streamable on YouTube. Yeah, you know what? I'll give it its due. I'll fucking preview and I'll predict. You know what? I'll predict the shit out of this card. We'll start with the match that I would assume would be a little less exciting, a little less. I guess a little less anticipated than the rest. I mean, usually I would start with the Ultimate X match because that's what usually opens the card. But I mean, in this case, Team Impact, EC3, Eddie Edwards, and James Storm go up against Team AAA, El Hijo de Fantasma, Texano, and Pagano. Pagano. I don't fucking know. I'll call him Pagano just to piss people off. I hope that's not his real name. Or that's not how it's really pronounced. Because that would be funny. It's Pagano, you fuck! It's not Pagano! I'm not funny. I've got to stop. I would assume that Team AAA would win. TNA's had a history of having their homegrown talent be pissed into the wind by outside talent that they picked up off of the free agent market or from the end of a contract with a different pro wrestling company. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing with EC3, James and Storm, and Eddie Edwards. I'm going to predict that Team AAA is going to win this match. I don't know if EC3 is still not undefeated. If EC3 is still face or if he's still heel. That confuses the hell out of me because it seems like they don't know whether he should be face or heel. But the former Derek Bateman has been one of the staples of the company. I don't even know if it tells me whether he's face or not. He's probably face. I guess he's face now. I'm still going to go with Team AAA to beat Team Impact. I think that's the smarter decision, knowing Impact Wrestling, and I'm going to go with that. Next is the 51-50 Street Fight match, the GFW World Tag Team Championships. Ohio versus Everything, Dave Christ and Jake Christ versus the Latin American Exchange, otherwise known as LAX, with Ortiz and Santana having Conan Homicide and Diamante in their corner. So OVE are the current GFW World Tag Team Champions. I'm going to predict that they retain the titles at Bound for Glory, and I would expect it to be a good match. I would expect LAX to continue with the powerhousing, and these guys seem like they are agile as fuck when it comes to high-flying maneuvers. Wait, what the fuck? Oh. I was like, wait, Sami Callihan's in TNA now? Alright, they're not. OVE, yeah, I will take OVE over the Latin American Exchange just to kind of put the show off on a good note to start. Alright. Monsters Law match between Grado and Abyss. This is one of the few matches that I actually have a little bit of a clue about what the fuck is going on. So, from what I understood, Grado was going to be sent out of the company, the country. He was going to be kicked out if he didn't marry somebody from America. And apparently Abyss was his lawyer, then going under Joseph Parks. From my knowledge, he ended up turning on Grado, and Grado and Abyss will now compete because of Joseph Parks versus, or I'm sorry, for fuck's sake, Joseph Parks / Abyss's turn on Grado. Grado, to my knowledge, is one of the most over guys in TNA, or I'm sorry, in Impact Wrestling, which is, I don't know if it's saying something or not, but I guess in Impact Wrestling standards, I guess it says something. This match I assume to be more fun than anything else, but I'm going to go with Abyss to beat Grado. No, you know what? No, Abyss has had a history of losing hardcore matches just because he gets into a very violent state of mind. I'm going to go with Grado to beat Abyss in the Monsters Ball match. I feel like this show is going to be an overwhelmingly positive outcome show with a lot of faces winning. So that's my prediction for that. Next is the Ultimate X match for the Impact X Division Championship. I assume, okay. I guess it's no longer GFW anymore. Trevor Lee defends against Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams, Matt Sydal, Garza Jr., and Desmond Xavier. I'm going to go ahead and say Trevor Lee retains the title. I know Sanjay Dutt had the title for a while. I know Petey Williams is coming back. Matt Sydal is very capable of holding the title. Garza Jr. is, I would assume, very interesting. Seeing the clips that I've seen from Impact Wrestling and Desmond Xavier, I don't know anything about him. So we'll go ahead and say, go out on a limb and say Trevor Lee will win this match and retain the Impact X Division Championship. And then I'll hope that I'm right. We have the 6 Sides of Steel tag team match where if Moose wins, then Lashley will retire from professional wrestling. And if Lashley wins, Moose must leave Impact Wrestling. It'll be Moose and Stephen Bonner versus Lashley and King Mo. Another one of those matches I actually have an inkling about what the fuck is going on. So to my knowledge, Lashley was up in the air about whether he wanted to wrestle or whether he wanted to go into MMA. His contract with TNA allows him to do both. And his MMA crew partners or whatever, it may be considered. We're trying to swing him into the MMA position, but Impact Wrestling and its management were trying to keep him in, as a wrestler, saying, listen, this is your calling, so on and so forth. And he's been very kind of torn and up in the air. So essentially, this would kind of, I guess, a loss would force Lashley to have to be given a decision and have it made by somebody else. So God, Lashley has had such a run in Impact Wrestling over the past couple of years. I'm going to go ahead. Damn. I'm going to go ahead and say that Moose wins and Lashley loses. No, you know what? I'm going to go with... Got an idea. I'm going to go with Lashley beats Moose. I'm predicting that Moose's contract is going to run out soon. And Lashley will continue his run with Impact Wrestling. And then we'll go for the World Championship. So a lot of these predictions I've kind of changed my mind on in the last minute. I'm going to go with Lashley and King Mo to beat Moose and Stephen Bonner. And that's my final prediction for that. Fatal 4-way match for the GFW Knockouts Championship, a.k.a. the GFW Women's Championship. The champion Sienna versus Gail Kim versus Taryn Terrell versus Ali. All 4 of those women are very attractive, very pretty, and I love Sienna's character. I love a lot of shit about Taryn Terrell. I love a lot about Ali. And Gail Kim is one of the hardest working women's wrestlers I've ever seen. I will go ahead and say I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because she's more than likely very over with the audience in Impact Wrestling, that Ali is going to walk out as the new GFW Knockouts champion. I'm going to talk out of my ass for a little bit as I try to find out whether she's still a face or whether she's a heel. From my knowledge, she's been one of the sweeter characters on Impact Wrestling, and has been at least very over when it comes down to the audience. Okay, yeah, so she's a face, and she's very over with the crowd. As I rip the backing of my chair. She's very over with the crowd. I'm going to go ahead and say Ali wins this match as I accidentally closed out of the link. primarily because, from what I've gathered, she was in the ladies of professional wrestling stable with Maria, and was getting very over there, and at the same time was very over with the crowd after leaving that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is Allie's moment, and she wins the GFW Knockouts Championship. There's my prediction. Take it with a grain of salt, please, for your own benefit. Yeah, there you go. First blood match between Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. I love Rosemary. To be bluntly honest with you, she's my favorite female performer or favorite knockout in Impact Wrestling at the moment. Taya Valkyrie is, I guess, a newly debuted performer for the company. I would assume they're trying to give her a little bit of a push. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that Taya Valkyrie wins this match, even though Rosemary lost to Sienna back at Slammiversary. I think she ends up losing both pay-per-view matches this year and loses to Taya Valkyrie here as well. Again, take all my predictions with a grain of salt. I don't watch the fucking weekly shows. My apologies. Main event time, singles match for the GFW Global Championship, a.k.a. the GFW World Heavyweight Championship, a.k.a. the current Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship of the world, as Paul Heyman would like to say. Too bad they never signed him to be a booker for the company. Eli Drake, the current champion, with Chris Adonis, a.k.a. the former Chris Masters in WWE, defending against Johnny Impact, a.k.a. the former John Morrison in WWE. From my knowledge, Johnny Impact only debuted a short while ago, a couple of months ago. So I don't know if they've really booked him well enough to kind of take the title off of Eli Drake. Eli Drake is great on the mic. I want to point that out. Eli Drake is fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic on the microphone. But when it comes down to it, knowing Impact Wrestling and the way that they've booked things before, they'll probably give the championship to Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Mr. M&M, Mr. Nitro and Melina, minus the Melina. I'm going to go with Johnny Impact to walk out the new GFW Global Champion, the same way that Alberto El Patron, who I've been told is going to be making his return at Bound for Glory, the same way that Mr. Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. the former Alberto Del Rio in WWE, had his moment at Slammiversary. So that being said, there was my preview and predictions for Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2017 pay-per-view. Again, I'm sorry that this wasn't a great video, and the same thing goes for the last video I made about WOW's reunion show. Gave you what I could. Not much information that I had, so I couldn't give an in-depth detail into everything. But thank you guys for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you did for some reason, remember, like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I am Zack Hardy, and I did this way too early. I am Zack Hardy, and I am signing the off. Hey, never said I couldn't censor myself when it matters most. Signing off.